In Herriman City, we're considered the public safety entity for Herriman City, and in as much as that we do the law enforcement piece, we also engage in emergency management as the leader in that field. We have animal services also assigned to the police department. We're starting a new unit that will be called community services. Within that unit, we'll have parking services, traffic services, and include animal services along with code enforcement.
We're actually really excited to support our city management team in transitioning code enforcement from community development to the police department. This is going to be under a new program that we're calling community services. And I think it's going to be very good for the community. We're going to have more resources allocated to code enforcement in the city. And we believe that this model will be more effective for everyone involved.
We are now to a point where we're beginning to roll out these community service units that the residents will see. Part of that is the multidisciplinary aspect to the community services unit. And what that means is that within the community services unit, we'll have many different disciplines. And those disciplines specialize in things like code enforcement, animal services, parking services. And those disciplines come together to manage the problem in a very holistic way. In 2020, we started seeing a trend in mental health as it applies to law enforcement and our response model. It was my intent to begin the process of removing police from that equation and the possible terrible results that could come from that. When we have mental health issues in our community, it's our job to identify them and get them the resources they need. I think the best way to do that is through a model of a mental health resource provider. In 2020 and 2021, I began to create that program and talk to the council about it. The council was kind enough to provide budget funds for allocation of a mental health worker. Beyond the typical school safety issues that we have, such as kids walking to school and learning in a safe environment, this week has brought some difficulties to the nation and even here in Utah. And that is the threats that we're receiving through social media and other platforms about school shootings and kids bringing guns to school. Parents need to address those issues in the house. Make sure you know what your child is doing on social media. Not only what they're receiving, but what they're sending. And let us know if you have concerns about your child and their social media interactions. We've seen schools that have gone virtual based on one threat. The disruption of our educational system cannot be tolerated. We need to make sure that our schools are a safe place for our kids to learn in. That's why it's so important for Herriman City to have an active school resource officer program. Those officers are in the school every day with our kids, keeping them safe. It's not just their role to be there and teach. It's also their role to provide safety for the kids to learn.